Hey, what's happening? Welcome to HTV. No clap this time around, just a quick one. So I've recorded a lot of post-match content for Redmen TV after Liverpool's game against Tottenham. One thing that broke while I was doing it was the Pgmol'S released a statement about the disallowing of Luis Diaz's goal, or the lack of intervention from VAR on that decision. So those of you who watch the game or have watched the highlights will know Mohamed Salah plays in Luis Diaz. He goes through, he scores. Liverpool at this point in the game are down to 10 men. I think the referee and the VAR get that decision wrong on Curtis Jones. I don't think he should have been sent off. But I won't even talk about that now. I just want to talk about the Pgmol'S statement, which I'll read for the sake of completeness. Pgmol'S acknowledged a significant human error occurred during the first half of Tottenham Hotspur versus Liverpool. The goal by Luis Diaz was disallowed for offside by the on-field team of match officials. This was a clear and obvious factual error and should have resulted in the goal being awarded through the VAR intervention. However, the VAR failed to intervene. Pgmol'S will conduct a full review into the circumstances which led to the error. Pgmol'S will immediately be contacting Liverpool at the conclusion of the fixture to acknowledge the error. Now, what is the one word missing from those statements? Sorry is one of the words. There is no, it's not apologises for a significant human error. They acknowledge that there's a significant human error. But you know what my major problem with this is? It's in how they talk about VAR, and we're all guilty of this to some extent, and I think it helps to bring about a confusion about what it is and what it does and who's doing it, because in calling it VAR or VAR or video assistant referee, I think there's just a slight implication that it's not human. Now, admittedly, the start of this sentence says a significant human error occurred. What I want to see from this, and this might sound like a bit of a churlish point, but what I think they should be doing here is saying the VAR, the name of the official, the VAR or the VAR officials, and here are their names. Because if someone else made a mistake, if you said on-field referee Simon Hooper made a mistake, cool, we all know who he is, but it's this like cloak of secrecy that's kind of veiled over refereeing. Howard Webb's come forward this season. Obviously, he's the new head. He's trying to be a bit more engaging. He's trying to be more media friendly. He's trying to get out there. He's trying to be a bit of a personality. They've obviously put these new mandates in place where you've got to be more respectful to referees. I'm for that, by the way, because I've seen what happens to referees down the pyramid. If professional footballers treat referees like absolute crap, it happens. You see it on the sidelines of kids' games, and young players learn to do that. And it's an endemic that actually reaches throughout the entire pyramid. A lack of respect for authority figures. Now, you could argue some figures of authority need to deserve that kind of respect. But I do think there's a way to do that, and that is obviously to have more transparency, not less. And I think they're doing more by fronting up Howard Webb, by having this show where they talk through the decisions. But the problem is with all of it, it's so stage managed, it's so practiced, it's so like, okay, well, here's the examples that we've put forward. We've curated these examples to show the good and the bad. And while it might feel like a significant step forward, in reality, it's not that much. I said this a couple of places recently. I don't think that you can have perfect officiating in football. And I think our quest for it is actually making things worse, because, and I said this, and this might not make total sense, but stick with me on it. I don't mind people being incompetent or stupid or just shit at what they do, because I have empathy. I'm a human being, and I can understand that there are other human beings in the world and they can make mistakes. I've played football. I've seen things a certain way. We've all done it where we've gone, oh, up and that's a penalty, or, oh, that's a handball, or, oh, that is a decision for us. And then when you watch it back, you go, oh, yeah, actually it wasn't, was it? That's football. You get swept up in it. So in the live game, situation, mistakes can be made. There's 22 people free running around a ginormous space with a ball that can be struck in so many varied ways, and they're fucking hit any of those players, moving all kinds of different angles, different speeds, and you yourself have not just got to keep up with that, you've physically got to be fast enough and fit enough and healthy enough to be in the positions to be able to see those things, have your two human eyes on any developing game situation. You know, the amount of things that happen behind refs' backs. VAR and this technology was supposed to make this easier, and all it's done is just let more rubbish, incompetent people in. But I would argue that at least if we know who they are, if you put them forward, make the audio available, just play it, just let it be a track. Honestly, you know, give them more money. Tell you what, sell it to Sky, sell it to TNT, sell it to whatever. Have it be an extra revenue stream. Let referees get paid more money for releasing this. Like it's an extra stream, like it's their Patreon. Put it on the refs' Patreon. I don't care. I want to be able to hear it, because until you can prove to me that they are incompetent, there's going to be increasing the number of people who think there's corruption. And I don't know that there's corruption. And it feels like a stretch to imagine that the referees are conspiring against certain football teams, that there's narratives being driven. There will be narratives, there will be biases, because they are human. They've got other humans in their lives who support those football teams, and you can't help it. You create your own natural biases in sport. You just do, for whatever reason. Maybe, like, you know, someone was a prick to you who had a Liverpool shirt when you were a kid, and deep down in your subconscious it's buried in your mind that you just don't like Liverpool for whatever reason. But it's not solely linked to Liverpool, by the way. But when you're talking about like major decisions being made, they're going out of the way to make this, to try and add to this, to try and do something to fix it. And the worst thing is, actually, generally speaking, the offside stuff's actually fine, because it's meant to be binary. And as much as it might feel nitpicky to go over an inch on a shoulder and stuff, yeah, but this is just, it's going to be interesting to see what they do next. Do they circle the wagons? What happens? Who's accountable? And what does accountability look like? And ultimately, what's the point of accountability? Because what are you going to do? Sack him? And if you sack him, who's going to take the place? There's no better refs waiting in the wings, waiting to take over. There's no like wonder kid now from your academy, from your ref academy, who's now going to get a shot. This is not Michael Owen getting a shot when Robbie Fowler and Karl-Heinz Riedler get injured and then goes on to play the World Cup. There is no refereeing Michael Owen, which is ironic because he's doing that show. The whole thing is just wrong. And it feels more bitter and more exacerbated because it's impacted Liverpool. And I hate the fact that a really gutsy Liverpool performance was undermined by horrendous officiating. But this is the problem. Again, it goes back to it. What's the answer? What's the solution? Let us hear them. Put them forward. Let them talk. Let's see who are their names. And I think they're fearful because referees already get a lot of shit and they get a lot of like, they'll get death threats and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, my general feeling is, if you humanise these people, put them forward, let us see who they are. God, have a little feature on how they prepared for it this day. You see them walking the dogs. Let us, you know, does Bobby Madley, you know, is he a big dog person? Well, I'd probably feel better about him if he was a big dog person. Oh, he likes cats. Oh, that's fine. Humanise these people. Let us see that they're fallible. Let's get a greater understanding that it's very, very difficult to officiate football. But what they're doing right now is just fucking wrong. It's shit and it's wrong, and they're hiding once again because they're circling the wagons, generally speaking, protecting themselves out of self-interest. And I get it because there's years of the like institutional abuse that they've faced over the throughout their entire careers, coming up the ranks. Nobody likes referees. Nobody wants to be a referee. You've got to be a weird mindset. It's like being in the police. You know, you've got to have a certain mindset. There probably is some sort of quest for power rather than a quest for justice or some sort of love. Who does anyone really grow up wanting to be a referee? I don't know. There obviously is some sort of different type of people. But that statement is just a load of fucking horse shit. And again, just tell us who, if you're going to tell us who was at fault, tell us who was at fault and let us know how they came to that faulty decision. And then we'll decide how we want to react to it. Because if they're just stupid and they're just shitting, I might feel sorry for them and that might curb my anger. But there's a chance we might need to tear the whole thing down. But right now, it's wrong and it's being held together by sticking plasters and twine and hopes and lies, and that needs to stop. Anyway, I'm not bitter. I am. I'm really sad and angry, and I should be angry at Liverpool's fella who scored their own goal, and the lad who got a second yellow card. But I'm not. Apparently, their guy Doge apparently made a yellow card gesture to when Diogo Jota fouled him. He was on a yellow. I don't know how true this is, but apparently he should have been sent off for that. It's mad. The whole thing's fucked. They're stupid. They're making stupid decisions, and they continue to make stupid decisions. So we either have to get on with that and accept it, or it needs major reform. I don't have the answers to this. What do you think the answer is? Let me know in the comments below. All I will say is that Pgmol'S statement is a load of absolute bollocks. But what do you expect? I expect nothing better from them. Idiots.